So the topic is logic. Logic is the way our brain thinks, in when it's very, very clear in thinking. So the statements that are based on this logic are called logical statements, right? So every language, whether it's English, whether it's Spanish, whether it's Mandarin, whether it's any other language in the world, has different types of different types of sentences, right? So every language has different type of sentences. So there are some sentences that are called statements, right? There are some sentences that are called questions. There are some sentences that are called commands. And there's also some sentences that are called opinions, right? Statements could be just like, my name is Mrs. Narang. So that's a statement. Question could be, what is your name? Right? That kind. Command could be, have a seat. And opinions could be, I like red cars. That's a good opinion, right? So for example, like a formal example here, is a test today? It's a question, right? Right? Anything that has a question mark, we know that in English, that's a question. Right? So another one like, this is a nice car. Now that is an opinion, right? Everybody has a different nice car, right? Everybody has different choice, right? Then if I say, go get me the soda or something, or I could say, get the newspaper, right? So that's a command. So it's like a command that you're asking someone to get something. Or another one that I'm writing down here is like, Sacramento is the capital of California. So what is that? That's a statement, right? California is the capital of California. A statement. Now the statement, it's a statement, right? Because it's a piece of information. Now the statement can be true or can be false. That's a separate thing, but it's still a statement, right? Based on what we know, California's capital is Sacramento, so that is true, right? So what we just now learned here was there were 4 types of sentences that are used in every language, right? So statements, there's questions, there's commands, and then there's opinions. So a statement is a declarative sentence that is either true or it could be false. So that's called the truth value. So it could be true or it could be false. It cannot be both. Either it's a true statement or it's a false statement. So now if I'm going to give you a set of sentences or statements, and you have to tell me, are they true or are they false? Okay, so we're going to discuss not true false. We're going to discuss, is that a statement or is that a question or is that a command or what is it? So first one, part A, is that Florida is a state in the United States. Now, is that true or is that false? Is Florida a state in the United States? Is that true or is that false? The answer, we'll talk about the answers later. Think about it. 9 squared plus 1 is a prime number. Is that true or is that false? 9 squared plus 1 is a prime number. Is that true or is that false? So we'll answer all the questions later on. So let's see another one. So x plus 3 equal to 8. Is that a statement or is that so basically what we have to do here is we are answering simple thing, is that a statement or not. We're not answering it the truth value, we're just answering is that a statement or not. So first one is yes, the second one is yes. We're not validating true or false, we're just validating whether it's a statement or not. And then the third one is a statement. It's a mathematical statement, but it's a statement. And the last one, how are you, is not a statement. Why? Because it's a question. Okay? So whenever there's a question mark, that's a question. So there are simple statements, which is like, which only has like one idea going on, right? And there are also just so simple statement only conveys one idea, single idea. All right? And then there are compound statements. And the compound statements, they have 2 to 3 ideas. Most probably 2, but some of them may have 3 ideas. So more than one idea is a compound statement. All right. So simple statement has one idea, compound statement has 2 or more ideas. And those multiple ideas are connected by and, or, if, then, if and only if. So it has all these connectives which we use to connect multiple statements. So things like and, or, if, then, if and only if. Those are some samples that we use. All right? All right. So there is this mathematician, George Boole. What he used was, he used some sort of symbols to express those basically you can say that the connectives. And then he also used small letters for statements. So all these symbols, upside down V, that's the and. The V is the or. The squiggly horizontal one is the, so that is a not. The arrow is if then. So that's a one-sided arrow. And the two-sided arrow is if and only if. So those are the symbols which are used for connectives, right? Let us practice some. Like, how do we write statements which most probably the compound statements as using, but before that, let's make a table and kind of explain all these symbols here. This just makes it more organized and easy to kind of remember. So, so if there is a statement, we're going to write another column for what are the connectives we're going to use. And then the third column is going to give you what symbols we're going to use, like symbolic way, like how do we write it. And then what is the type is our last column. Okay, so we're going to make that chart or a table. So the first one is not P. Not is the connective, which is a squiggly line P, which is the negation, right? So whenever there's a not, you always put a squiggly P. P and Q, and is an upside down V, and that is a conjunction. All right, so conjunction, which is like the and, which is the common, right? Then PRQ is the or, which is the disjunction, which means like either P or Q. All right. Then we have if P then Q. So which is P leads to Q, which is conditional. The last one is P if and only if Q, which is if and only if, which stands for P double-sided arrow Q, which is also called biconditional. Remember, all these things we learned in geometry. If you remember that, this was taught to you in geometry classes. All right, so we make this chart so we can see clearly what is, how do we put symbol for everything. Okay, make sure you understand this, and if you like understand it, and because we're going to use it in the questions. So there's something before I kind of go over more examples here. So I want to talk about truth value of statements. Truth value means whether is it a true statement or is it a false statement. So that's the truth value. A statement can be true, a statement can be false. That's how we understand, is it the truth value is T, which is true, or truth value is F, which is false. So any statement, so like, I don't know, I'm going to movies today. That could be true or that could be false, right? If I actually go, it's true. And if I do not go, then it's false. Talking about the truth value, of a compound statement. So if it's a simple statement, then it's easy, right? Because it could be true or false. But if it's a compound statement, then it depends on whatever the each statement, what kind of truth value each statement has, and also what kind of connective did we use? Is it and? Is it or? Is it negation? Is it if then, or is it if and only if? So it depends on that. So truth value of a compound statement is a little bit more complicated than truth value of a simple statement. Okay, so it depends on each of those simple statements and also its connectives. And for compound statements, we use a truth table, and we won't go into those details on this lesson today, but we can always look at that one later on. So let's practice on these symbols today and be experts on that, hopefully. So then, moving on with this lesson part 2, we can focus on the truth table. Okay. So let us practice on this. So let's, first of all, let's say I'm going to ask you, write the negation of Um, Ellie Goulding is an opera singer. So is that, how do you write the negation? Ellie Goulding is, so what's the negation when you say no, right? So Ellie Goulding is not an opera singer, right? So basically just saying a not, right? So that's how we write negation, which is basically negating it, right? So the next thing, my dog does not need, or the dog does not need to be fed, does not need to be fed. So the negation of that, because it's this statement already has a no, so the negation of a negation would become the dog needs to be fed. Why? Because we're doing, the statement has a no, so when we do the no of a no, it becomes a yes. Right? So that's how we understand negation. My last slide today is going to be practicing on the symbols, as I said before. So before we write the symbols, we're going to write the simple sentences, and based on the simple sentences, we're going to figure out the symbols afterwards. So let's say P is, today is Friday. Now the statement doesn't have to be true. It could be true, it doesn't have to be, but it could be true. Q is, it is raining. We just have simple sentences here. Then we have R, which is, I am going to a movie, or going to watch a movie. And S is, I am, actually this should be not, I'm not going to a basketball game. So this should be, I am not going. I think I'm going to add that later on here. Should be, I am not going. So now the question is, write the following compound statements as using symbols. So we need to write them using symbols, or a symbolic form, which is using symbols. Remember, the last one is I'm not going. I'm going to fix that later on right now, because I'm saying it and it's already typed, but I'm going to fix that. So the first one is, today's Friday and it is raining. So today's Friday and it is raining. The second one is, it is not raining. So it is not raining, and it is not raining, and I'm going to a movie. So it is not raining and I'm going to a movie. The third one is, I am going to a basketball game. So this one says I'm going. I forgot the word game here. Or I'm going to a movie. So it should be a basketball game there. I forgot the word game because I already had written it first. And the last one, D, is, if it is raining, then I am not going to. If it is raining, then I'm not going to basketball game. Okay, so those are the sentences and we need to write them. So this one was a not, right? I'm not. Let me explain that once I write down all the answers. Okay, so the first one. Today is Friday. So P, right, is P, and it is raining. So and when it says and, you have an upside down V. So upside down V and a Q. All right. Second one, it is not raining. So not raining means not Q. And I'm going to a movie. So and R. C, I'm going to a basketball game. So the question when you see S is saying I'm not going. So that means if you're saying going, you have to put a negation on that. So negation of Q and or stands for a U, like a V to a movie. And the last one, if it is raining, so if it is Q, then, because if it's a if then you're going to put the arrow, then I'm not going to basketball game. So Q leads to S, or if Q then S. All right, so that's how we kind of go through these logical statements. So basically sentences, we have some simple sentence statements and we have some compound statements. And in this lesson we also talked about the symbols and the how we have we connect the two simple sentences, right, and using the different symbols, the U, the V, upside down V, and then the conditional statement and all that stuff. Okay, so yeah, so homework's going to be based just on that, right?